Ladies, gentlemen, bodies of water, this is the Alchemy Lab. My name is Lee, and I'm in a new chair, and currently playing Cassius.
I'm Carl, same chair as always, and I'm playing Gracchus.
And I'm Matt, and I've cut my own hair, but you're not going to see it because of the earphones, unless I accidentally unplug them. And I am everyone else in Mihre. Hello, and lovely tinkly background music.
We hope you're enjoying it, because
We've upgraded. And by upgraded, Matt's taken on all of the work that I didn't do. So, thanks, Matt.
It's more than I thought it would be. But it is bit of editing here and there, bit of jiggery pokery, and we've upped our production values just a little bit. Baby steps, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water.
One day we'll be a professional outfit.
Yeah, one day we'll all be doing it in the same place.
Can you imagine? Can't wait.
I know. Anyway, last time in Tea and Treachery, in the Shattered Lands streets of Mihre, you made me do sexy lady voices.
We were right with the party. It was always going to happen.
Yeah. This is like my compromise. Okay, we didn't do the sexy party, but you can have some elves, have some sexy elves. That's fine. But the mystery deepened quite significantly. In fact,
indeed. Yeah.
You found some very interesting items in Mr. John's room at the Nightheart Hotel, and I think you got his name. Didn't you get his full name?
I may have spelt it wrong, but in my equipment, I have 3 new things in my equipment. I have a tier 3 grit of passage for Baltasound Jaunt.
Baltasound.
Definitely spelled that wrong, I think.
Balthazar Jaunt.
I know it would be, right? And I'm thinking, why would I have wrote that if it wasn't that?
Baltasound is the Mihre music festival that happens on tier 4 every year.
Autocorrect. Why does autocorrect always do that to you? No, this is the word you want. No, it's not, because Baltasound isn't a word. Phone. Also a nice lockpick and 2 normal rings hidden by a trap.
Indeed. 2 completely normal rings.
Yeah.
Nothing interesting about them at all, no. Apart from the fact that they were stashed behind in like a hidden
nasty trap.
Yeah, hidden compartment and a bolt of lightning that nearly killed you.
Yeah.
Also, you found changes of clothes. Also, you found bits of platinum. This is very, very peculiar.
Yeah. I think I started this with no platinum. I have 5 platinum now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, we open on our intrepid detectives as they leave the Nightheart. Gentlemen, over to you.
Well. Well, here's your cut. Anyway, and I hand you 2 pieces of platinum, and I hold out the rings.
I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Dope. That was just to pick one, but this is better.
Well, this way, at least we know each ring is magically about.
Both rings they ping in Cassius's palm. They are both definitely magical. They are both set with a spell.
Ooh.
Now, you're not sure what the spell is. One of them is definitely based around wizardry and sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think they both are. That's off memory. I think they both are. Of like the schools of magic. Neither are destructive.
Right. Okay. Both magical. There's some kind of bound spell to it. I couldn't tell you what, though.
Take your pick.
I just grabbed the first one, like the nearest one to me in the hand.
What are they? What do they look like, Matt?
I'm glad you asked. I was going to ask if you wanted to study them further. Make an investigation check. Both of you, actually, because you've both got one.
Gracchus is not interested in that, but he'll do the check anyway, because Gracchus is like, it's a ring. That's not bad, actually. It's 17 plus... Flat 17 for me.
14 for me.
Okay, so these rings are like completely nondescript. They look copper, just made of some kind of copper. You kind of turn yours over in your hand, Cassius, and I mean, there's a bit of polish on the inside. I mean, like natural polish, as if they've been like put on and taken off.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, like if they had rings on all of the finger, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly like that. Yeah. But you don't really see anything else about them. Gracchus, on yours, you notice the same thing, but there's a tiny, tiny etching. Like you just pick it up as it kind of catches the light on the inside rim where there's polish, and it is a little glyph of an eye. Tiny little glyph of an eye.
Cass, inside of the ring there might be a small glyph somewhere. I'm looking at a little eye in the middle of this ring.
let me have another look.
Well, now that you know what to look for, you actually see it. You're like, oh yeah. And your glyph is of a little shield. Tiny little shield.
Interesting. Then I put it on.
Yeah, I do the same.
Put it on, take it off, and put it on. Take it off, and put it on. And I'll leave it on.
Whenever it's on, you get like a sort of a. There's a little. When you put it on, it's warm around your finger, and you sense like some kind of. There's something happened, like some kind of power that you're not. Without knowing exactly what, you don't really know what to do with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put my ring on as well.
You get the same sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. A question for another time, perhaps.
I think so.
Melora?
We have Melora or construction sites. Now, I would say construction sites are probably better done when there is no one there. Speaking to Melora, also, that would be an ideal case, but as she's in prison, I don't think that's going to be.
She has a right to a defense, doesn't she?
What kind of defense?
Someone has the right to investigate on her behalf.
Indeed.
We could offer our services.
I more meant, and I sort of gesture to your greatsword.
If necessary, sure. Although I'd prefer not to have to kill a guard.
As would I. We have only been here for a few weeks. It would be nice to stay here for a while.
Yeah. We've only just left Tier 7. As nice as it was with Charon, we have a place here of our own. It'd be nice to keep it for a bit.
Well, let's go see Melora.
You're acquainted enough with Tier 6, at least this district of it, that you can make your way semi-confidently to the guard barracks, which is where you figure they would be. Melora would be. As you traverse, would you like to discuss anything?
What do we see?
As you walk the streets?
As you've asked that question, Yes, as we walk the streets.
Perceive the streets,
I will
gentlemen.
perceive the shit out of this. 21.
He definitely will, because I only got a 10.
I'm
You've
busy
been-
looking at my shiny new ring.
Indeed. You've been in there for a little while, right? You've been in the Violet Heart for a bit.
Well, I imagine
We did shagging and then we did investigating.
Yeah,
so
that's it. I imagine there was a fair bit in preamble before
Right.
Cassius decided to investigate anything.
Okay, so about 12, 13 minutes you've been in.
Seven.
Oh!
7 minutes.
7
Max.
minutes. Okay, you've probably been in there roughly an hour. In fact, you know what? Let's D100. You've been in there for an hour and 10 minutes.
Could you imagine if you rolled a 90?
You have been in there for 10 days.
Cassius, what the hell happened to us?
You slipped into a time warp.
It's that second wind feat of the half orc. Just waiting.
yeah.
Well, there were two of them, to be fair.
To be fair, what's better is it's called relentless endurance, so it's quite apt as well.
Indeed.
I have no sexy feats.
You could pull the
You just-
spirit of the greatest lover known to mankind
Yeah.
into your body and get better at it.
I can.
Let's say you did that. You grabbed Casanova and you were like, ooh. All right. Well, on the streets, as you're moving toward the evening, I mean, it's not. People are still on their sort of work shifts and that, so it's not too. There's not too much foot traffic. Although you do note a few figures striding about. Indeed. These are people in quite nice uniforms. These are definitely uniforms, sort of military style uniforms. They have prominent badges and crests displayed. They seem to be sort of the national. They seem to be sort of military police, I would say, is what they would be.
Okay.
And they are moving around in groups of 2.
Is this a new development in me? As I came crashing down through the tears, bonk, bonk, bonk.
Make me a history check. And you as well. Oh, well, Gracchus, you've not noticed them.
No,
20.
You're looking at your ring.
Somehow 20. Hang on, I need to plug in my thing.
All right. Well, I don't know if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me?
I'm still here, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water.
Well, from your, I don't know if you can still hear me. They are
I
from
can still hear you.
good professional outfit, ladies and gentlemen, bodies of water. So you remember that these kind of uniformed military police type folks are usually called in when there's something quite serious going on. When they're sort of like they're like the feds, like the FBI. It's like, oh, there's something usually threatening mere security.
Okay.
So something has piqued their interest down here. You've seen them this low down. You know that they've been this low down before. They've been as low as 7 before. There's rumors they've been down to 8, but just rumors.
Something seems to be afoot, Gracchus.
Sorry, what?
The
Oh, right. Huh. Rare sight this far down. I wonder if it has any ties to our mysterious Balthazar.
Well, if our past luck is anything to go by, I'm sure there'll be something.
This is true. It's never easy, is it?
But it's always fun.
Agreed.
Mm. You, after a couple of minutes, you reach the barracks. You notice a couple more of these people, these sort of outfitted people around. I've pulled out my earphones. Don't worry. Here we go. Just gonna plug them back in.
We are so professional.
Critical role. It's where we're aiming to be.
There we go. That's fine. All right. Anyway, you see a couple of these uniformed people outside. Seem to be questioning the guards. They pay you little heed as you approach.
Let's not walk in yet.
No, I'm curious as well.
Nix, pop over to the front of the guards barracks. Tell me what you hear.
Of course, Mr. Valentine. After a couple of minutes, it's very peculiar. They're asking about patrols, and they're asking about suspicious characters, and they're asking about the local areas of interest and what will be an area of interest in the future. They seem particularly interested in buildings.
In what?
In new buildings.
In new buildings. Nix, you need to get closer to the mic if you're whispering, because I can't hear you otherwise.
New buildings.
Oh, new buildings.
New buildings.
And there is the tangent.
There we are.
Right.
They're very interested in architecture.
Stop it, Nix. Right. Anyway,
Serious face.
there's your ASMR interlude for the day. Let's take note of that. New buildings.
Interesting.
Well, that may make it a bit harder for our second sojourn tonight, Marcus.
But it also means that they probably are tied to Balthazar's appearance.
I think so.
What the hell could he have stolen that's drawn this attention down here?
Oh, he seems to be quite good, so it could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We head in.
let's.
Okay. You head inside. It's quite a pokey little kind of reception area. Cobwebs here and there, large wooden drawers filled, you imagine, with files, and a desk with a dwarf sat behind it with a pair of spectacles. Can I help you, gentlemen?
We're here to see Melora.
Melora.
Owner of the novelty. She was brought in earlier today, I believe.
Melora Knightley. Yes. For what purpose?
To provide our services.
Yes.
And what services would that be? For the
Investigation.
record. Investigation.
Yes.
Well, I dare say your services are not required. She is currently in the hands of our investigators at the moment.
Who are doing a terrible job.
Your investigators made it very apparent at novelty that they had no interest in investigating the case.
I do declare, sir, that is an interesting thing to say in the guard barracks.
I'm sure it is.
If
I
you
stand
have
by it.
if you have a grievance, you can take it up with Mr. Swift.
No grievances, just offering our services to Melora.
Well, if she wants your services, that is, then that will be up to her. But it's up to Mr. Swift to get you through into back there.
Very well. Where is this Mr. Swift?
Do you have an appointment with Mr. Swift?
I believe we do, yes.
Make a deception check.
Do I? Of course I do, dwarf.
Oh, do you not know who this man is?
What was it?
17.
He flicks through his notebook. What time was your appointment?
Now, I believe. Right here.
There's nothing in the appointment book.
No appointments now.
Not for you, Mr.
Come on, let's go. I've had enough of this man.
Where is Swift?
Oh, goodness.
I am not at liberty to, if you don't have an appointment with Mr. Swift, there is no reason I would give you his whereabouts.
Then give us Melora. You have no right to refuse her. She has a right to defense, and you're refusing that by refusing us to talk to her. If it's her, offer them then.
Are you representatives in that case? Are you legal representatives?
If she will accept our services, we will be. And if you refuse to allow her to do that, you might have some issues further down the line.
Oh, that was persuasion until the end. That seems intimidating. Intimidating him.
Dirty 20.
It is. Yes, with the gratis intimidation.
I'm a massive orc that's packing a lot of weapons right now.
Yeah.
The dwarf looks at you and looks at the pair of you. So. Mr. Swift's office is through the door on your left at the end of the hall.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind service. I start heading towards Swift's office.
I wonder who Mr. Swift could be. I sort of say to myself as Brackers walks off.
I do so hope we've been introduced before.
Okay, sure. Okay, you're both going, I would assume.
Yeah.
You
Probably
head up,
wise.
yeah, you head up the corridor. In the rooms either side, you've got sort of storage space. You've got a couple of smaller offices. The guard barracks, there seems to be like quite a lot of different activity going on in here. Make some perception checks, Joe, as you head up the corridor.
13.
Dirty 20.
Okay, so you notice, obviously, there's the barracks part of the barracks. Like, there's the set of bunks where these people, where the guards sleep. There's a couple of different bunk rooms with beds of varying sort of sizes and lengths and things for the various heights of the various species in Mihre. The offices are, as you would expect, sort of crime investigation, things like that. There's also some sort of admin things. And Gracchus, you notice that there's it's like licensing. There's like licensing offices here, and it seems that the licenses go with a bunch of different things. Like there are licenses for homes, like licenses for various more exotic weaponry, licenses for having an air balloon or an airship, and licenses for city planning.
This might be worth coming back to if we can, Cass. City planning office. That'll have a record of every new construction in this part of the district, at least.
Could do.
Perhaps Nix could take a look.
Yeah. While we go, have a little look around for any new buildings. Currently under construction, but not built yet.
I'll have a poke around, Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Nix.
There may be quite a few. Do I need to narrow that down at all?
Red construction bricks being used, and very new as well. Based on the descriptions we can see from Balthazar's things, I would assume that the construction location is probably a few months at most.
And the red clay, yes, in the footprints.
Correct.
I'll look through the drawers.
Thank you, Nix.
Mr. Swift's office door is ahead of you, directly ahead of you.
Cassius, I'm going to ask your opinion before I act. I feel it's probably wise here.
Okay.
Should I be polite or should I just storm in?
I was going to ask how you'd like to play this.
Well, I'm all for being, well, me.
Well, we have two options. While it would be very fun to go in there, all guns blazing, figuratively or literally, we do need to get to Melora. Now, I'm sure we can get to Melora by more nefarious means.
I agree. Setting up trying to do this in the middle of a guardhouse is probably not the wisest. I'll follow your lead.
Okay.
I knock on the door.
Come in.
I open it up and step through. Step to the side of the door and sort of stand there.
Yeah, and I will follow and stand in front of what I imagine is a chair to sit in front of his desk. It's the dude, isn't it?
Inspector Swift, who you have met before.
Fuck's sake!
I knew it was going to be.
Leans back in his chair. Gentlemen, to what do I owe the pleasure?
We've been sent by the receptionist, the doorman, to speak to you, Laura, and offer our services of legal counsel and whatnot.
Legal counsel?
Yes.
A pair of lawyers. You don't strike me as lawyers, gentlemen.
I never claimed to be a lawyer. Tier 6 can be a rough place. Even those with well-to-do means and motives can require protection.
And legal protection is a form of protection, is it not?
There are those in the city who would deal with less legal means. I'm more protection for that purpose.
You wouldn't happen to be investigating that murder, would you?
We merely seek to offer our services.
As lawyers or as investigators?
I may investigate on his behalf.
I assure you we have everything well in hand.
I'm sure you do from a guard perspective, but from the defendant's side, I assume that they prefer their own eyes on the case.
And counsel. Are you providing the defense for her?
We will. We will. These things sometimes take time.
But she is granted the right to choose her own legal counsel. Am I correct?
You are correct. You are correct. We wished to question her first. And we have.
Without counsel present?
Yes.
Well, there should be no problem with us talking to her now that you've got to her first.
Our questioning is far from complete, Mr. Valentine.
Well, it's good that we got here in time, then. You said these things take time, but she's here on her own taking questions from yourselves, but the legal counsel is not yet here.
I'm not sure what you're implying, Mr. Valentine.
I'm not implying anything.
There's an implication behind your words, Mr. Valentine.
You can take it as read, Inspector Swift. There is no legal counsel down there, and you are questioning her. You understand the rules of the game. She does not.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Valentine. You have questioned suspects in the past, I imagine. Have they had legal counsel with them when you've questioned them?
I have never been a guard or an inspector.
Who is trying someone for murder?
Indeed.
I know how your sort operates. You try people on the spot. You are the jury and often the executioner.
Forgive me, Captain Swift, but how are you any different right now? You have Melora in a cell on her own with no counsel. You've questioned her multiple times, and when you arrested her, you were certain she had done it. Please explain to me how you are not judge, jury, and executioner in this scenario.
And while you may understand our people, we have only met today. We have not got in your way. We have not obstructed you. We have not caused any trouble.
Miss Knightley has the right to a trial, same as any defendant in Mihre, the entirety of Mihre, including Tier 7. As for our procedures, people tend to clam up when their lawyer is beside them. They may incriminate themselves. And Miss Knightley has been very, very evasive. She's deceived us many times.
Do you blame her? Again, you are questioning.
She's a criminal, Mr. Foebreaker. Of course I don't blame her.
What evidence do you have of that, by the way? Beyond your suspicions and lack of investigation at the crime scene. Last time we were there, you simply casted her out without actually doing anything to my remembrance, Swift.
Is she not operating an illegal drug ring out of her tea house? Did a man not drop dead of poison in her tea house? She is the only person who could have poisoned him.
You have yet
unless
motive or means.
That will come with further investigation.
At which point her counsel should be present at them. And you have refused her counsel during questioning.
We have refused her nothing.
Has counsel been present during any of the questioning you've established so far?
Not as yet.
Then you have refused her counsel during questioning, Mr. Swift. You say you know how people like us operate. I too know how people like yourself operate. You need results. Hang the person who needs to be hung. You care little for the truth sometimes if it's necessary. The death of someone dressed like that is obviously quite an important thing in Tier 6. They're not from around here. So what's one simple woman being hung? If it keeps the higher-ups off your back. I noted the military patrols, by the way, on the way in. Something serious happening.
The military does what the military does. Potentially something serious is happening. We shall see what that is when they communicate it to me. As yet, they have not.
Not a high enough pay grade, it seems.
Indeed. We all have our place, Mr. Ferber. This is mine,
Yes.
and I run it well.
And mine right now is to ensure that a woman doesn't hang for a crime she didn't commit.
I should quite like to see your legal credentials, Messrs. Valentine and Fowbreaker.
Again, I never claimed to be a lawyer.
But you would still have credentials.
For what? An investigator needs no credentials. Protection needs no credentials.
Legal counsel does. And working alongside legal counsel does as well. Let's cut to the brass tacks, gentlemen. You're not legal counsel. You don't. Perhaps you wish to investigate this on your own terms. We need not be foes. I don't want to see an innocent person hang, any more than you do.
What do you want, Inspector Swift?
I would like to solve a murder, gentlemen. We may have different methods, but there is, and you may disagree with my treatment of Miss Knightley, but it is worth noting that she has been incredibly evasive on a number of key issues for this crime. She's claimed not to be very well acquainted with Mr. John. However, we know she's lying.
How so?
This is a law enforcement operation. We have many paladins here who maybe are out of favor with their church.
So you'll balk at us, but you'll use disgraced paladins.
Out of favor with their church does not mean disgraced.
Out of favor with the church for a paladin, it does mean they're disgraced. They're no longer recognized by their order at that point.
Well, since there are very few gods, the churches don't seem to have as much pull as they used to.
That we can agree. Still haven't answered my question of how you know they knew each other well, though.
Well, we knew she was lying about it. We don't know the particulars as of yet.
There's a lot of vagaries here, Mr. Swift.
Indeed.
A lot of evidence.
Indeed. I have a proposal for you, gentlemen.
I thought you may.
As people who don't wear the guard's armor, you can go where we can't. You don't arouse as much suspicion as some. Myself included, unfortunately. Perhaps we could work together. We will fetch Miss Knightley some legal counsel. But if you are so sure of her innocence in this matter, perhaps she won't need it. But we do need to assure her innocence, of course.
Very well. Gracchus?
Nothing happens to her until we finish investigating. Agreed?
You take me for a monster, Mr. Ferber. I'm not that. I'm simply a man of the law.
The law can be monstrous. I've seen it myself.
It can. When wielded incorrectly. I assume you'll want to have a conversation with Miss Knightley.
Yes.
Her cell is on... Take the left-hand corridor as you leave the office. There are a set of iron doors. She'll be behind those, behind a set of bars. It also may interest you to know that the autopsy on John, first name or surname, Mr. John, we'll call him.
Surname.
Very good.
Balthazar John.
You do dick measuring rather well, Mr. Valentine. Balthazar John. His autopsy is beginning very soon. Very soon, in fact. You're welcome to attend it. No need to hold evidence back from each other.
Indeed. When we came in, we were asked if we had an appointment with you. I presume this will not be an issue in the future. Now we are working together.
He takes a... it's like a card. It's kind of... It's about the size of a credit card. It's made of wood.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a seal kind of burned into it. He passes it, he slides it across the desk. Not with that, you won't.
Thank you, Inspector.
Thank you, gentlemen. I look forward to a productive relationship.
As do we.
And we'll finish there, ladies and gentlemen, Voice Reporter.
This is definitely going to be an enemies become friends situation. I can feel it in my bones.
Gonna take Grax a while to
He's fucking. He's new Charon. He's new Charon.
He'll never replace Charon.
Oh.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for watching us, guys. Do all the YouTube things that you know what to do. Don't need to tell you. And see you next time.
See you later.